Hirohiko Araki, the man behind the series we all know and love, Jojo's Bizarre Adventure. But what did he do before the series that brought him to fame? With the beginning of 2017, the 30th anniversary of Jojo, I thought I would go back and go over each of Araki's works before Jojo. Hello everyone, this is the RPG Monger, and today I will be talking about Gorgeous Irene, a manga Araki wrote in 1985, after Bao and right before Jojo. Being only 2 chapters long, you really wouldn't expect much from such a short manga, but honestly it is quite interesting and it has unique characters to say the least. Our main character, Irene, is an innocent girl, or at least that's what you're set up to think. Irene is actually a sadistic assassin who infiltrates and kills with her strange ability that allows her to change her appearance and body with makeup. Now I'm just gonna say right now, if you do plan on reading the 2 chapters that make up this series, I'll just put a spoiler warning here, because I'm going to be talking about basically the entire plot of the series, so if you want to see it for yourself before this, you can go ahead and read it, then come back and watch this if you'd like. Now with Gorgeous Irene, the 2 chapters it has are more or less loosely connected, so let's take a look at each chapter, shall we? Alright, so we start out with a little menacing intro here to captivate the reader, nothing wrong with that. And here we have our villain for the chapter in O. Wouldn't you look at that, it's Araki's signature animal abuse. I see even back in the day he couldn't resist it, huh? And wait, hold up. Is that girl wearing an eyebrow? I mean, I've seen weird character designs before, but come on, an eyebrow? Alright, anyways. After the little interrogation scene, we go to a flashback where the man first enlists Irene by becoming her friend. Of all the ways to enlist someone, right? Because in this world, that's all you need to enlist an assassin of all things. So then it is revealed that the man's motive to kill the mob boss is apparently she killed his dad, and with a gum of all things. Leave it to Araki to come up with just the most bizarre weapons. So thus the battle begins as we go back to the mob boss's headquarters, where the old woman behind her turned out to be Gorgeous Irene. I see what you did there, we all see what you did there, Araki. But anyways, one flamboyant chainsaw later, we start to see Araki developing his style of overly buff characters, later to be seen in full with Jojo's first 3 parts. So after that riveting battle, the mob boss ends up being hypnotized and is forced to kill herself with her own flamboyant chainsaw. And then the chapter ends as Gorgeous Irene walks off and leaves the man tied up, happy ending more or less, with her apparent catchphrase, "I'm so sadistic." Now before we go on to the second chapter, let's just take a moment to talk about what just happened. On a scale of first chapters of manga, even if it is a 2 chapter manga, I'd say this wasn't that bad, honestly. I've read way worse, and for its time, it really isn't bad. Though, is it better than Bao? I'll reserve that for later. Well, now on to chapter 2, where off the bat we have a fight that foreshadows events to come. And I guess we're in New York now? This should be interesting. So after Irene's backstory, here we are with our average Americans, you know, average Americans. And with Irene's backstory, it isn't exactly the most complicated backstory out there, but it's something I guess. Basically, her backstory is, her father was a loyal assassin who died on the job, and she in turn inherited all of his deadly techniques. Not exactly the dramatic manga backstory you were looking for, huh? So after befriending a man who tried to mug her, we have drug dealer Stroheim over here, and once again, these fashion choices are just fantastic. I mean, a hard eye patch. Like, on a side note here, isn't this just a perfect balance between flamboyant and edgy? Like, just think about it for a second. Oh, and just like part 1 of Jojo, we're starting to get some real nice proportions. You know, when his entire body could fit inside this man's head. Like, you know that one scene from the part 1 manga, where Jonathan literally looks like a wall of man. Oh, and I forgot to mention it earlier, but in Gorgeous Irene, Araki has also started to include his signature sound effects. Coupled with strange proportions, now we almost have part 1, and technically we sorta do since that's the next manga Araki makes. So anyways, at this time, an assassin is sent to kill Irene, who is with the man she befriended. Though this assassin's secret weapon is a bit stranger from all the previous weapons. She has a tattoo that somehow becomes a 3rd arm, and also ants, can't forget that one. So after that signature Gorgeous Irene scene, the fight ends with the assassin getting crystal skulled. You know what I mean. Then, the story ends with a sort of where are they now kind of deal, with the man becoming a music star and Irene disappearing forever, the end. Pretty melancholy if you ask me. Honestly, if you look at this manga as a standalone entity and judge it, it isn't exactly the best thing out there. But for me at least, what I enjoyed the most was reading this considering how Araki's art style and writing traits were evolving. It's almost like a time capsule of sorts, which is really fun for me. And if I compare it to the last manga I covered by Araki, Bao, honestly, I'd probably say Bao is better. Just for the base reasons that it was longer and it had a lot more time for its story and characters to develop, where Gorgeous Irene is just a fun sequence of events. So I recommend you read the 2 chapters that make up Gorgeous Irene as Araki's final stepping stone to his debut of Jojo's Bizarre Adventure. So, if you're new to my ramblings and enjoy them, do consider subscribing. And that being said, today's cool thing of the day is Samurai Champloo. Or at least it was gonna be that, until the Nintendo Switch's huge presentation. Like, the amount of hype I have right now for the lineup of games coming out is enormous. I may even make a little small video on its own just to talk about it all. And on that topic, I want to ask you guys, do you think that every now and then I should make a video on gaming or something similar to it? I mean, I am the RPG Monger, so do tell me your thoughts. And that being said, I'm the RPG Monger, and don't forget that each and every one of you are fantastic.